President Obama is expected to get the results this afternoon of the 2 security reviews that he ordered after that Christmas Day bombing attempt. One report looks at how passengers are screened at airports. The other looks at those much criticized terror watch lists. ABC's Yunji Deniz is covering the president in Honolulu this morning. Yunji, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan. Those reports are due to the president by close of business today. They come amidst new reports that the National Security Agency had intelligence 4 months ago about a possible terrorist attack, but failed to connect that to the suspect's father's warnings.
ABC News has learned what could be a key recommendation, a mandate for intelligence officials to dig deeper into the background of those persons deemed a threat. Here's why. In November, after the would-be bomber's father warned the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, officials provided instructions to raise alarms if Abdulmutallab applied for a U.S. visa. But they failed to see if he already had one. He did.
It feels like after 9/11.
The man who led the 9/11 Commission says 8 years later, the intelligence community still isn't communicating.
They've got to coordinate their information. They've got to connect the dots. We cannot have another failure.
Evidence of missed signals are multiplying. Just last month, authorities arrested a man in Mogadishu trying to board a plane with an explosive device similar to the one the suspect got onto Flight 253. But sources say the intelligence community waited until yesterday to inform the Department of Homeland Security and the TSA, even though earlier this month the president signaled Somalia's potential threat.
Where al-Qaeda and its allies attempt to establish a foothold, whether in Somalia or Yemen or elsewhere, they must be confronted by growing pressure and strong partnerships.
Security that requires us to guess the plot correctly isn't going to work because there are so many plots.
Now the fight turns political. In a scathing statement, former Vice President Dick Cheney claimed President Obama is trying to pretend we are not at war. The White House fired back, saying the president knows we are at war and, quote, doesn't need to beat his chest to prove it.
Now, all of the information in the reports is confidential. The White House says they do not expect the president to share any of that, to speak publicly with the American people today. In fact, they say he may not speak publicly again until he returns to Washington.